Women over 60 don't have to forego fashion. In fact, at this stage in life, you can still embrace your beauty and confidence with refined, elegant fashion choices. A well-put-together outfit not only boosts your self-esteem, but also exudes grace and sophistication with every step you take. Fashion for women over 60 requires attention to detail, both in fabric selection and how pieces are styled together. This article offers simple tips to help you elevate your style without needing to make a significant investment. Here, we'll explore how to select and combine clothing in ways that allow women over 60 to maintain a timeless, elegant, and confident look. We'll also discuss how to choose clothing that's not only sophisticated, but also appropriate for your age and body type. How to choose the right jeans for women over 60. Jeans are a timeless wardrobe staple, but when you're over 60, choosing the right pair can be a bit tricky. It's not just about comfort, it's about finding a style that enhances your figure and exudes sophistication. Here's how you can make jeans work for you without compromising elegance. Mistakes to avoid when choosing jeans. One of the biggest mistakes women over 60 make when choosing jeans is going for light wash or overly distressed styles. Light-colored jeans, while fun in the summer, often don't give off the refined, polished look you might be aiming for. They tend to look more casual and less sophisticated. Similarly, jeans with excessive rips or fraying can come off as too young and sloppy rather than chic. Another mistake is choosing jeans that are either too tight or too loose. While skinny jeans may have been trendy, they're not always the most flattering, especially when they are too tight. On the other hand, jeans that are too baggy can make you look larger than you are and miss the mark on creating a polished look. Finding the right fit is crucial. Jeans should hug your body just enough to create shape but leave room for comfort. Opting for dark wash jeans. Dark wash jeans, especially in indigo or medium tones, are ideal for women over 60. Not only are they versatile, but they also create a sleek, slimming silhouette that instantly elevates your look. Dark jeans are universally flattering and can easily be dressed up or down. They give off a sophisticated vibe without feeling too heavy for warmer months. The beauty of dark denim is its ability to hide imperfections and enhance your shape, giving you a leaner, more defined appearance. If you're looking to look polished and put together, dark jeans are the way to go. They pair well with almost anything and can effortlessly be dressed up with a tailored blazer or down with a simple top. How to style dark jeans for a sophisticated look. Once you have the perfect pair of dark jeans, styling them becomes key. For an easy yet elegant look, consider pairing your jeans with a fitted top. A sleek knit sweater, a classic button-down shirt, or a high-quality t-shirt can all work beautifully with dark jeans. To keep things polished, tuck your top in slightly to define your waist and create a flattering shape. The right shoes are essential for completing the look. Pointed toe flats, loafers, or ankle boots can add sophistication without sacrificing comfort. Avoid chunky, outdated sneakers or overly casual flip-flops, as they can ruin the elegance of your outfit. If you're looking for a more elevated vibe, a pair of classic pumps or kitten heels will instantly dress up your jeans. Accessories that elevate your look. Accessories play a huge role in completing your jeans outfit. However, it's important not to overdo it. Stick with simple, elegant pieces such as a delicate gold or silver necklace, small hoop earrings, or a minimalistic bracelet. These accessories add refinement without taking away from the outfit. For bags, choose structured handbags like a classic tote, a sleek crossbody, or a chic shoulder bag. These types of bags add sophistication and balance out the casual nature of jeans. Avoid slouchy, unstructured bags that can make the outfit look disheveled. Conclusion: choosing the right pair of jeans after 60 doesn't have to be complicated. Avoid light wash, distressed styles, and instead opt for dark, well-fitting jeans. Pair them with sleek tops, classic shoes, and minimal accessories to create an elegant and polished look. With the right pair of jeans, you'll not only feel comfortable but look sophisticated at any age. Styling your outfit with a chic coat, a well-chosen coat, can be a game changer when it comes to creating a sophisticated, elegant look. It's one of the easiest ways to elevate any outfit, and for women over 60, selecting the right coat can make a huge difference. Here's how to choose and style a coat to achieve a polished, timeless look. Choosing the right fitting coat. A coat with a tailored, Slightly loose fit or a well-fitted blazer is ideal for accentuating your shape without making you look frumpy. Avoid coats that are too oversized, as they can overwhelm your figure and make you appear larger than you are. On the other hand, a coat that's too tight will make you feel constricted and uncomfortable. The perfect coat should offer enough structure to define your silhouette while maintaining comfort. When selecting a coat, focus on neutral colors like black, gray, or beige. These colors are versatile and easy to pair with almost any outfit, making them great investments for your wardrobe. Black in particular exudes elegance and sophistication, while gray and beige are lighter options that still maintain a classy, understated look. Blazer-style blazers are an excellent way to elevate any outfit, especially when paired with jeans or tailored pants. When selecting a blazer, it's important to ensure that it's neither too loose nor too tight. A blazer that fits just right will give you a polished, professional appearance without feeling too stiff or too relaxed. A simple, well-cut blazer with subtle details can instantly upgrade a casual outfit into something chic and refined. Blazers are not only perfect for creating a sleek, tailored look with jeans, but also work beautifully with a variety of other pieces in your wardrobe. Whether you pair it with a crisp white blouse, a lightweight knit sweater, or even a turtleneck, a blazer provides a versatile, sophisticated addition to your outfit. It's the perfect piece for both casual and formal occasions. How to style your coat and blazer to create a cohesive and sophisticated look. Pair your coat or blazer with simple, elegant pieces. A fitted blouse or a sleek knit top works wonderfully under a tailored blazer. If you're aiming for an effortlessly chic vibe, pair your blazer with dark wash jeans and a pair of pointed toe flats or loafers. This combination is not only stylish but also comfortable, making it ideal for both everyday wear and more polished occasions. Accessories also play a key role in enhancing your look. A structured handbag, a minimalist watch, or a delicate bracelet can add the finishing touches without overwhelming your outfit. Keep the accessories simple yet refined to complement the elegance of the coat or blazer. Choosing the right coat and blazer is key to achieving a sophisticated, polished look. By pairing them with quality, understated pieces, you'll effortlessly create a style that's both timeless and modern. With the right fit and the right color palette, you'll look and feel confident, elegant, and poised at any age. How to style your jeans with the perfect top. Jeans are a wardrobe staple for any woman. But to create an outfit that's both sophisticated and comfortable, choosing the right top to pair with them is essential. The right top can elevate your jeans and help you achieve a chic, polished look. Choose high-quality fabrics instead of reaching for basic t-shirt. Opt for tops made from high-quality fabrics like modal, silk, or cotton. These materials not only feel great against the skin, but also add a touch of luxury to your look. Modal and silk are known for their soft drape, creating a fluid, elegant silhouette. Cotton, while breathable and comfortable, also maintains an elegant and polished finish. Choosing tops made from these fabrics ensures that you're not just comfortable but also stylish. Pairing high-quality tops with dark wash jeans creates a timeless, refined look that works for any occasion. Select the right style and colors when pairing tops with jeans. The style and color of the top are just as important. Simple necklines such as turtlenecks, boatnecks, or blouses can make the outfit look more elegant and refined. A turtleneck not only provides warmth, but also creates a long, graceful line that flatters the neckline. A boatneck offers a feminine touch and is a perfect complement to jeans for a polished, effortless look. Color choices are also crucial. Neutral shades like black, white, gray, or pastel colors work beautifully with jeans, giving your outfit an understated yet sophisticated vibe. White adds freshness and brightness, while gray and black provide a more classic, timeless appeal that can easily be paired with a variety of accessories. Perfecting the look with accessories. Once you've chosen the right top, accessorizing is the next step to complete your outfit. A structured handbag, a sleek watch, and pointed toe flats or loafers will add sophistication to your jeans ensemble. Keep the accessories simple and elegant, focusing on quality rather than quantity to enhance your overall look without overwhelming it. By choosing high-quality tops with simple yet elegant designs and pairing them with carefully selected accessories, you can easily elevate your jeans and create a chic, polished look for any occasion. Using accessories to elevate your style. Accessories are essential for completing any outfit and adding a personal touch to your style. Whether your outfit is simple or elaborate, the right accessories can make a world of difference, transforming your look from basic to chic and sophisticated. Choose minimalist accessories. When it comes to accessories, less is often more. Simple, elegant pieces like dainty bracelets, delicate watches, and understated necklaces can add sophistication to your outfit without overwhelming it. These accessories enhance your look, creating a refined and polished appearance without drawing too much attention. A slim bracelet or a subtle watch adds a touch of elegance without being too flashy. These minimalist pieces help maintain the focus on your overall look while adding a layer of detail that speaks to your sense of style. Opting for these simple, quality accessories ensures that your outfit remains balanced, elegant, and effortless. Handbags. A structured handbag is one of the most important accessories to complete your look. Whether it's a sleek tote, a crossbody bag, or a small clutch, a well-chosen handbag can instantly elevate your outfit. Structured bags help define your silhouette and add sophistication, making them perfect for both casual and formal occasions. A tote bag is ideal for work or casual outings, offering both style and practicality. A crossbody bag is perfect for day out, giving you comfort and elegance. For more formal events, a small clutch is the perfect accessory to complement your outfit, providing just enough space for your essentials while enhancing the overall sophistication of your look. Pairing accessories with your outfit. While choosing the right accessories is important, it's also essential to coordinate them with your clothing. Accessories like bracelets, watches, and handbags should complement your outfit, not compete with it. A tailored blazer paired with a structured handbag and delicate jewelry creates a polished, elegant look. The key to elevating your style with accessories is balance. The right combination of accessories and clothing will take your outfit to the next level, adding both sophistication and personality. Whether you're dressing for work, a casual outing, or a special event, accessories play a crucial role in refining and completing your look. Shoes. The detail that defines elegance. Shoes are not just for comfort or protection. They play a pivotal role in elevating your style. The right pair of shoes can add sophistication to your outfit, while the wrong choice can detract from the overall elegance. Opt for sleek shoes. Pointed toe shoes, loafers, and ankle boots are ideal choices to keep your look sleek and stylish. Pointed toe shoes elongate the legs, creating a more refined and graceful appearance. Loafers are perfect for workdays, offering both comfort and a polished look. Ankle boots with their tailored fit not only enhance the shape of your legs but also pair effortlessly with various outfits, from jeans to skirts. Avoid bulky shoes. While sneakers and flip-flops may offer comfort, they aren't the best choice for creating a sophisticated look. Oversized sneakers or flip-flops can detract from the elegance of your outfit, making it appear more casual and less polished. Sneakers are best suited for athletic activities or laid-back weekends, while flip-flops simply don't carry the refined look needed for office wear or formal occasions. The right footwear can transform a simple outfit into something special, providing the perfect balance of comfort and sophistication. The key is choosing shoes that complement your overall style, making you look chic, polished, and confident. Mastering color play with elegance. Color can make all the difference when it comes to creating a stylish and polished look. Used correctly, color can add sophistication, balance, and timeless appeal to your outfit. Opt for neutral colors. Neutral colors are always a safe bet for a chic, refined look. Shades like black, gray, navy, and camel are versatile and never go out of style. Black in particular exudes elegance and sophistication, while gray and navy offer a more subdued, classic feel. Camel is a warm, approachable color that adds a touch of refinement to any outfit. These neutral tones are easy to mix and match, making them perfect for creating a well-rounded, stylish wardrobe. Avoid overly bright or high-contrast colors. While bright, bold colors can certainly make a statement, pairing them improperly can make an outfit feel disjointed and less polished. Clashing or overly bright colors tend to disrupt the flow of a look, making it appear less cohesive. When using vibrant colors, it's best to pair them with neutral shades or soft pastels to keep things balanced. A pop of color can be stunning, but it's important to ensure the overall outfit feels harmonious and sophisticated. Pairing colors with other pieces. Once you've selected your colors, the next step is making sure they work well with the rest of your wardrobe. When you combine elegant colors with the right accessories and pieces, you create a look that's both visually appealing and sophisticated. Using color thoughtfully with the right textures and styles will ensure you have a polished, balanced outfit that enhances your overall appearance. Real-life examples of fashion for women over 60. A great example of fashion for women over 60 is the story of 62-year-old Jane. In the past, Jane often opted for simple, minimalist outfits and didn't pay much attention to current fashion trends. However, when she decided to refresh her style, she began experimenting with lightweight sweaters, well-fitted blazers, and pointed-toe shoes. This change not only boosted her confidence, but also led to numerous compliments from friends and family. The combination of lightweight sweaters and blazers gave Jane a polished, sophisticated look, while the pointed-toe shoes helped elongate her legs and make her feel more graceful. As she embraced these changes, she felt more comfortable and confident in social situations. Jane shared that after updating her style, people around her commented that she looked younger and more modern, which made her feel truly proud of herself. For women over 60, fashion doesn't have to follow traditional rules. By combining timeless pieces like blazers, pointed-toe shoes, and neutral colors, you can create a style that is both contemporary and age-appropriate. These items not only keep you comfortable, but also enhance your elegance and sophistication. Fashion at this age is about confidence and knowing what works for you. Once you find the right pieces, learning how to mix and match them will help you create a look that is youthful, modern, and refined. Women over 60 can absolutely maintain a stylish, elegant, and confident fashion sense by choosing the right clothes and mixing pieces that complement their figure. Opting for timeless, understated items will help you create a sophisticated look without breaking the bank. Fashion trends will continue to evolve, but confidence in your wardrobe choices will ensure you remain vibrant and chic at any age. Don't hesitate to experiment and update your style. Embrace your individuality and confidence through every outfit you wear. There's nothing more empowering than showing love and care for yourself by selecting the right pieces and creating looks that reflect your self-assurance.